The words we use to describe ourselves matter. And Abby Sugar is here to make sure you think twice about the labels you use. As the founder and CEO of Play Out Apparel, Abby is an outgoing, unapologetically queer startup leader. She is a graduate of Barnard College and a select portfolio company of the Founder Institute Startup Incubator. Abby strives to be a leading voice in and for the LGBTQ+ community. Her entrepreneurial spirit and unique personal style give her an outsider's advantage to the world of fashion and DTC startup ecosystem. Take it away, Abby.
If I asked you to provide a one-sentence professional bio, what would that sentence be? I'm assuming this would include your job title and maybe a few descriptive adjectives or adverbs, such as acclaimed doctor of neuroscience, distinguished professor of literature, maybe even passionate financial advisor. Note the adjectives here. Now, what do you think when I say that my introductory sentence, my frequent brief bio when I'm asked to provide one, says, Abby Sugar is an unapologetically queer female startup founder? I think that this bio says a lot about me. Very clearly, very directly, very shortly. I'm a very direct person. But do these labels empower or impede? You see me standing here speaking to you, so the labels are informed by how I look, my body language, and these words that I'm saying. But do these labels actually belittle my accomplishments? What if you are reading about me, described by these labels, with no visual context? In professional settings, most people don't introduce themselves as a female physician or a male professor or a gay non-binary chief marketing officer. If we look at the industry that I'm in, the one of startup entrepreneurs, men are not introduced as male founders. They're simply founders. But women in this industry? How many times have you been called or heard them be called female founders? I'm going to tell you, probably a lot more times than you realize. This question about labels and gender recently turned into a viral debate sparked by Ashley Sumner, the founder and CEO of Quilt. In March, she shared a photo of herself on LinkedIn with the words, I am a female founder, written over the image, and the word female crossed out. She captioned it, I am a founder. By putting my gender in front of what I am belittles what I've accomplished and reminds women how few of us get to where I am. I'm ready to drop the gender and get right to the work I'm doing. Ashley was quoted in the New York Times asking herself, when is labeling in support and celebration of furthering our mission of equality successful? And when is it othering and hurting our mission? I want to ask you, do you think labels hold underrepresented founders back? Now that you're conscious of the labels, are you perhaps aware of any implicit bias that they conjure up? Do they help or do they hinder? My name is Abby Sugar. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the founder and CEO of Play Out Apparel. Play Out is an inclusive, gender-equal lifestyle apparel brand currently designing streetwear and underwear. Gender equal means that we do not have men's or women's sections on our website. Our slogan is no genders, just style, and we are consciously inclusive in the construction, design, and our brand marketing DNA. I am part of the LGBTQ+ community, and starting this company came out of a personal need. My friends and I were not being served by available brands or styles on the market. I always say that I was just crazy enough to embark on building them myself. My team and I are trying to create the brand that we wish existed when we were younger, to be able to feel comfortable as ourselves, celebrate our self-expression, and to feel welcomed when shopping. We want to see ourselves authentically represented in fashion. This also means I spent a lot of time thinking about gender and sexuality and a lot of time having these conversations personally and professionally. If we talk about the labels male and female, I'm here to tell you, the gender binary is over. 50% of Gen Z thinks that traditional gender norms are outdated. 56% of Gen Z shops outside of their assigned gender. And in fact, 16% of Gen Z identifies as LGBTQ+, which is almost double the percentage of millennials who identify at 9% as part of the community. Those are pretty high percentages. Now, here are some more. According to Crunchbase, in 2019, 20% of global startups had a female founder. In 2020, only 2.3% of venture capital went to women-led startups. If we talk about the labels male and female, I'm here to tell you, the gender binary is over. 50% of Gen Z thinks that traditional gender norms are outdated. 56% of Gen Z shops outside of their assigned gender, and 16% of them identify as LGBTQ+. This is nearly double the percentage of millennials at 9% that identify as part of the LGBTQ+ community. Those are pretty high percentages. Now, here are some more. According to Crunchbase, in 2019, 20% of global startups that raised their first funding round had a female founder. In 2020, only 2.3% of venture capital funding went to women-led startups. The statistics for out LGBTQ+ founders are even lower. Though these are hard to tally exactly, since some founders may choose not to publicly identify with the community, analyst writer Pui King in entrepreneurial.com shares that more than $1.5 trillion was invested by VC firms globally from 2010 to 2019, but less than 1% of funding deals go to LGBTQ+ founders. When I say I am a queer female startup founder, I am choosing to face the world directly as my full self and find power by standing out in this way. I am telling those that I meet, I identify as queer. Female is my gender identity and my gender expression most of the time. And I started this talk focused only on the label of female founder, but I am keenly aware of my own intersectionality. And for me, this question of labels extends to sexual orientation and gender expression. I agree with King when they say, conventional wisdom suggests that serious business people look at investment opportunities based on their potential, not at the person behind the enterprise. The goal should be profit or financial gain, so gender preference or identity should be the least of an investor's concerns, right? This brings me to my question. Why is gender bad? Using the female founder or queer founder label is not what causes the disadvantage. The system that upholds men or male gender as the default and more desirable way to be causes the disadvantage. And this is a deeper problem. I absolutely will not play the role of victim in regards to this inequality. But I will say that yes, I have definitely experienced discrimination in the startup world from other founders, from mentors, potential advisors, and potential investors. Yes, I feel as if I need to prove more traction, answer more skepticism, have less access, and am sometimes dismissed or spoken to in a questionable way. Not only am I a queer female founder, but I have a super queer company. I have to justify that the market is big enough, there's money to be made, or educate them on these real and obvious, those statistics that I previously shared, societal shifts. The future of fashion is gender equal, and I cannot stress this enough. The gender binary is a social construct. Does this mean that I should cross out queer and female from my public identity? Cross those words out from my bio? Would you stop sharing what makes you unique? For me, I cannot not be myself. I stand out for being different, and I use that to my advantage. If I walk into a room full of white, heterosexual male investors, where they've been reviewing pitches from people just like them all day, I'm definitely going to entertain and make sure that they're paying attention to me exactly for my differences. That doesn't mean I can change their implicit bias, but that means I can only authentically be myself. Personally, if I use the label, if I own it for myself, I don't think it belittles my accomplishments. However, if someone else uses it to put me down or keep me down, then that tells me everything that I need to know about them. I also want to be cognizant of my immense privilege as a white woman, queer or not, to have these opportunities in the first place. Support underrepresented founders so that we do not need to be asking this question if labels empower or impede. Support can come in many forms, from actual investment dollars to speaking opportunities to examining your own ingrained biases about gender labels. I would love for everyone watching to become more than an ally to female founders, but to be a champion for us. So I'll ask you again, what is your one-sentence bio? What does it tell others about you? And I'll leave you with mine. My name is Abby Sugar. I am an unapologetically queer female startup founder. Thank you.